What's up guys, welcome back. This is Anime Crossover. You'll be watching What If Naruto Had Other Bloodlines in Marvel Part 2. Now, let's begin. Naruto held the handlebars firmly as he accelerated down the street, the wind rushing through his hair. The engine of his motorcycle thundered in his ears as he skillfully navigated through traffic, intent on creating as much distance as possible from S.H.I.E.L.D. As he looked in his rearview mirror, he felt a surge of adrenaline upon noticing a red-haired woman on a similar bike closely pursuing him. Her long hair flowed elegantly behind her as she navigated the sharp turns, her gaze intensely focused on Naruto. Situational quest, evade the chase. Compensation. 800 points. Naruto dismissed the quest panel that had appeared in his peripheral vision and concentrated on driving. As he moved through the bustling streets, Naruto experienced a surge of adrenaline while skillfully navigating the complex array of vehicles. The noise of tires screeching and horns blaring permeated the atmosphere as he skillfully maneuvered through traffic, narrowly evading collisions with each audacious maneuver. At a critical moment, he maneuvered his shot between two vehicles with mere inches to spare, the sound of metal scraping against metal sending a chill down his spine. "That was quite close," Naruto remarked quietly, a nervous chuckle escaping him. The woman with red hair was positioned directly behind him, mirroring his every movement with accuracy and expertise. "Please accelerate, just a bit more," Naruto requested of his motorcycle, twisting the throttle and feeling the robust engine respond to his command. The narrow streets became a blur as they navigated through the city, with the buildings swiftly passing by in a dynamic manner. Naruto's heart raced as he maximized the bike's performance, feeling the adrenaline coursing through him. As they neared a particularly tight turn, Naruto felt a surge of adrenaline as he narrowly avoided colliding with the side of a delivery truck. The aroma of burning rubber permeated the atmosphere as he expertly leaned the bike into the turn, his instincts finely tuned as he worked to maintain control. That was incredibly dangerous and exhilarating. Naruto restrained the impulse to shout at the top of his lungs. He had not previously experienced a bike chase, although he had encountered several of them in films and was thoroughly impressed by their portrayal. "Let's not get ahead of myself," Naruto said, attempting to steady his nerves as he concentrated on operating the bike. The woman with red hair was closely pursuing him, her determination clearly reflected in the intense expression she wore. Naruto felt an unsettling awareness that she was consistently one step ahead, predicting his every action with remarkable accuracy. "She is right on my tail," he muttered to himself, stealing a quick glance at the determined redhead behind him. "I must avoid being discovered by her, especially considering all the efforts I have made to elude S.H.I.E.L.D. As Naruto attempted to concentrate on his escape, he detected another sound in the atmosphere. He glanced upward and observed a helicopter approaching him, its door fully ajar. A man was positioned at the door, his bow trained directly on Naruto. Naruto's heart quickened as he recognized that he was entirely encircled. "This situation continues to improve," he remarked. He maintained his composure and carefully surveyed the surroundings for possible escape routes. The man in the helicopter addressed Naruto as the aircraft approached the bike, stating, "Naruto, it's over. Please consider surrendering so that we may reach a peaceful resolution." Naruto regarded the offer with a dismissive scoff. Calmly, "Is it? I have significant reservations about that." He increased the bike's speed, skillfully maneuvering through the streets and avoiding obstacles in a determined effort to escape both the helicopter and the woman pursuing him. As he maneuvered through the busy city streets, Naruto's thoughts were consumed by the individual in the helicopter. "Hawkeye," Naruto stated, his eyes narrowing as he reflected on certain memories. The former Naruto maintained a strong relationship with Hawkeye, serving as both a mentor and an older brother figure to him. It appeared that Hawkeye shared a similar perspective on Naruto, as he opted to issue a warning rather than take action after pursuing him for a minute. As Naruto looked back, he observed Hawkeye, poised to take the shot from the helicopter. "I ask for your forgiveness, Naruto," he said quietly. Naruto observed that the uncertainty in Hawkeye's eyes had vanished, indicating his readiness to intervene. Naruto swiftly accessed his system space and retrieved the explosive kunai. He acted swiftly, aware that the individual in the helicopter was prepared to take aim at him. With a swift and precise motion, he released the kunai from his hand, targeting the helicopter directly. The kunai made contact with the helicopter's tail, embedding itself into the metal with a notable impact before detonating in a brilliant flash of light and fire. The explosion's force caused the helicopter to spiral uncontrollably, with smoke and flames emanating from the wreckage as it descended towards the ground. The helicopter, previously under control, veered dangerously towards the bustling streets of Harlem, transforming its steady flight into a tumultuous descent. In the midst of the turmoil, voices raised in urgency echoed throughout the environment. "Please move aside. Please evacuate. It is approaching rapidly." The sound of tires screeching and urgent honking contributed to the chaos as individuals sought to evade the looming threat. "Assistance required. We kindly request assistance." The overwhelming sound of the helicopter colliding with the vehicles was met with distressing cries and urgent appeals for help. "Please contact emergency services immediately. Assistance is required in this matter." Thick clouds of smoke and dust enveloped the area, while the anxious voices of individuals caught in the turmoil resonated throughout the streets. Amidst the chaos, the redhead pursuing Naruto found herself ensnared in the turmoil. She was just moments away from the helicopter when it was hit by the unusual weapon, and now she had no option but to halt as the road was entirely obstructed. The redhead promptly ceased her pursuit of Naruto, dismounting her bike and hurrying toward the downed helicopter where she had observed Hawkeye. The harsh smoke irritated her eyes and induced a cough, yet she persevered, resolute in her commitment to assist. "Stay strong, Clint," she said softly as she extended her hand to assist him to safety. "We are proceeding to exit the premises, please remain patient." As she approached the crash site, she observed Hawkeye lying there, unconscious and injured. She promptly assessed him and noted that he had sustained some injuries, though none appeared to be severe. The pilot, conversely, did not survive. A fragment of metal from the helicopter had penetrated his skull. Despite the imminent threat of the explosion, she methodically and swiftly relocated Hawkeye to safety, maintaining composure and concentration amid the surrounding turmoil. Using all her strength, she successfully pulled him away from the wreckage just before the helicopter exploded, scattering debris in all directions. She cast a brief look towards the area where Naruto, the suspect she had been pursuing, had managed to escape. Her eyes reflected a determined commitment as she silently vowed to apprehend him and ensure he faced the repercussions for the disruption he had caused. At this moment, prioritizing the care of Hawkeye is of utmost importance. Naruto felt a heavy weight in his chest as he looked in the rearview mirror and observed the charred remains of the helicopter he had incapacitated with his explosive kunai. The scene was distressing, as he realized that his actions may have led to the loss and suffering of innocent lives. As he accelerated on his bike, a profound sense of guilt and remorse enveloped him. "I did not intend for this to occur," Naruto murmured to himself, his voice scarcely rising above the sound of the engine. "I have never intended to cause harm to those who are innocent. They happened to be in an unfortunate situation at an inopportune moment." The burden of the consequences of his actions weighed heavily on him, and Naruto found it challenging to set them aside as he focused on evading his pursuers. Even with his attempts to separate himself from the turmoil he had created, the guilt persisted, eating away at him like an unyielding adversary. Naruto was not merely a model of virtue. He will certainly not experience any remorse concerning the elimination of those who initially sought to take his life, much like the agents he dispatched a few weeks prior. However, causing harm to innocent individuals who had not wronged him was something he found unacceptable. "I must maintain my momentum," Naruto reminded himself, striving to concentrate on the objective before him. "I must remain focused and not become entangled in this situation. I must identify a method to remove this tracker from my body and restore my reputation." "I did not request for any of this to occur." Naruto continued to drive ahead, reflecting on the turmoil he had instigated. At present, there appeared to be no one trailing him, yet he continued to accelerate. During the pursuit, he realized that S.H.I.E.L.D. had undoubtedly implanted something within him that facilitated their tracking efforts. However, there appeared to be a certain limitation associated with that tracker. If he was at a sufficient distance, the tracker appeared to be ineffective, providing only an approximate location. Naruto was making every effort to distance himself from Harlem. The road extended ahead, transitioning from the urban landscape to expansive highways and vast rural areas. Naruto pressed on, the wind rushing by him as he advanced swiftly. The echoes of people shouting and perishing resurfaced in Naruto's mind, tormenting him as he distanced himself from the city. The visual of the helicopter descending rapidly, accompanied by the deafening blast, replayed in his mind like a chilling cinematic experience. Naruto felt a profound sense of remorse as he came to understand that his decisions had resulted in such a tragic outcome. He contemplated whether there might have been a more effective method to deter his pursuers. It is possible that he could have identified a method to neutralize the helicopter without resulting in significant damage. In that intense moment, driven by adrenaline, he acted impulsively, without considering the potential repercussions. The guilt weighed heavily on him, posing a significant challenge to his emotional well-being. He attempted to evade responsibility, to separate himself from the repercussions of his actions, yet he understood internally that he could not escape it. As he sped along the expansive highway, Naruto reached a conclusion. He could no longer maintain the facade of being blameless in this situation. As the city receded into the background, Naruto's determination intensified. Hold on a moment, haven't I already made my escape? Then why did I not receive any reward or notification regarding the completion of the quest? A sudden idea emerged in his mind. At that moment, a resounding bang reverberated through the atmosphere. Suddenly, he found himself propelled through the air, his body making contact with the unyielding pavement. He lay across the road, coming to a halt after a few moments. A sharp pain coursed through his entire body, leaving him momentarily stunned and unable to grasp the situation that had just unfolded. Blood oozed from a laceration on his head, and his garments were tattered and marked with blood. His vision was unclear, and his ears were producing a ringing sound, which hindered his ability to concentrate on anything. Had it not been for his robust physique developed through weeks of training, he could have sustained serious injuries from the high speed at which he was operating his bike. As he endeavored to elevate himself, Naruto's gaze fell upon his bicycle. The rear tire of the bicycle was entirely damaged. Subsequently, as if the situation could not deteriorate further, a figure clad in red armor descended from the sky, halting just above the location where Naruto had been dislodged from the bike. The man's presence was formidable, his armor shining in the sunlight as he regarded Naruto. Fleeing after committing a crime is unacceptable. Surely your mother advised you against it, he stated with a commanding tone, his voice resonating in Naruto's ears. Could you please explain how you were able to locate me? Naruto inquired as he rose, contemplating his subsequent steps. He assessed his chakra reserves, noting that they had replenished somewhat since earlier. At this point, he possessed approximately 50% of his chakra reserves available for use. Observing Tony soaring through the sky in his Iron Man armor, Naruto realized that evasion was not an option without engaging in combat. Given Tony's speed, he would likely have no difficulty in catching him. If he were to engage Tony at this moment, even with a potential victory, he would find himself completely exposed when SHIELD agents arrived. Tony would have certainly communicated Naruto's location to SHIELD, and they would be en route to their position. Naruto inferred that SHIELD likely sought Tony's assistance in apprehending him, given that there was no animosity between Tony and himself. This was the sole conclusion he could reach, as after reviewing the prior memories of Naruto, he understood that they had never engaged with one another and were entirely unfamiliar with each other. I should have prevented this individual from coming to Harlem in the first place, Naruto lamented, recognizing that he had a prime opportunity to do so. It seems you may have already arrived at the answer to that question, correct? Tony responded while remaining suspended in the air. He continued, I suppose it is worth mentioning that every SHIELD agent has a tracker implanted within them. The sole purpose of this system is to accurately monitor the agent's location. The tracker will perform its functions effectively without any hindrance. It was indeed a fascinating invention developed by my father. Are the other agents aware of that? Naruto inquired. Only individuals with a significant level of clearance are privy to that information, Tony responded to Naruto's inquiry with patience. The exchange appeared to be one between two acquaintances rather than adversaries. What proposal did SHIELD extend to you? Naruto inquired, fully aware that Tony was merely responding to his questions to buy time, as S.H.I.E.L.D's arrival was imminent. That information is not relevant to you. I find the unique energy within your body to be quite intriguing. It was able to interfere with the functioning of the tracker after all, Tony remarked, subtly alluding to something. Absolutely not. I will not disclose the secrets of chakra. Naruto quickly grasped Tony's intentions but was wise enough to withhold any information about chakra and its intricacies. A blue panel unexpectedly appeared before his eyes. Situational quest, eliminate Tony Stark. Reward. 5,000 points. I don't believe that will be the course of action I will take. Naruto promptly declined the quest. Given the extent of his chakra and the variety of techniques at his disposal, overcoming Iron Man seemed highly unlikely. Even if he were to overcome Tony, an achievement that is exceedingly rare, the shield would have arrived by that time, resulting in his swift capture. Following that, only demise loomed ahead, as Hydra would undoubtedly devise methods to eliminate him even before he arrived at the shield headquarters. This endeavor proved to be even more challenging than the confrontation with the Abomination. In that situation, he merely needed to delay for a moment until Hulk arrived, at which point the Abomination would become Hulk's responsibility. The current quest presented a stark contrast, as it involved a critical confrontation between him and Tony, with Naruto finding himself in a precarious position. It appears that I have no choice but to proceed with that option, Naruto stated decisively. Naruto may exhibit some arrogance, a tendency to become easily angered, and a certain impulsiveness in decision-making. However, he is not lacking in intelligence, though one could argue he displays moments of naivety. However, he was aware of the appropriate moments to engage and when to withdraw. I am uncertain about the proposal shield extended to you for my capture, but I have a more enticing opportunity to present, Naruto stated. Tony inclined his head slightly, assessing Naruto from head to toe. What could a man who has been pursued like a dog possibly provide me? If it pertains to the unusual and potent energy within you, I would gladly accept your proposal, Tony responded. Naruto addressed the situation with a composed expression, undeterred by the palpable tension surrounding him. The focus is not on the energy within me. The matter pertains to the circumstances surrounding your parents' demise. Tony's expression transitioned from curiosity to disbelief. My parents passed away in a car accident. It is as straightforward as that, he stated. Naruto shook his head, his focused gaze locking onto Tony's with determination. No, your parents have been tragically killed. Their deaths were not coincidental. A glimmer of irritation appeared in Tony's eyes in response to Naruto's remarks. He spoke, his tone precise and filled with intensity. You are not being truthful. My parents passed away in a car accident, and that concludes the narrative. I am unsure of the intentions behind your actions, but I will not engage with this behavior. In an unexpected move, Tony unleashed a repulsor blast aimed at Naruto, who adeptly evaded the assault, demonstrating remarkable grace and agility. The explosion impacted the roadway behind him, leaving a charred mark as a testament to Tony's exasperation. I am not lying, Naruto asserted, his tone unwavering even in the face of the perilous circumstances. He restrained his impulse to unleash a significant burst of fire towards Tony, taking a moment to compose himself and ensuring that his anger did not dictate his behavior. Furthermore, he was able to comprehend Tony's current emotions. I possess information that can clarify the circumstances surrounding your parents. What other reason would compel me to present this offer to you? I would like to propose an agreement that is advantageous for both parties, Naruto continued. Tony's mind raced as he carefully considered Naruto's words. The tragic death of his parents had consistently been a delicate topic for him, and the idea of someone exploiting it for personal benefit evoked a profound sense of anger and sorrow. However, a hint of uncertainty lingered in his thoughts, a subtle voice that suggested, what if there is additional context to consider? Prove it, Tony asserted, his gaze intensifying within his helmet as he directed his attention towards Naruto. Demonstrate that your statements are genuine and not merely a means of self-preservation. If you possess concrete evidence regarding the circumstances of my parents' death, I would appreciate it if you could present it to me. This conversation will conclude otherwise. I currently do not have it available, However, Naruto was interrupted as another blast was directed towards him. "Please allow me to complete my statement," Naruto expressed with frustration and a hint of impatience as he employed the shadow flicker technique to evade the blasts. Naruto clenched his jaw in exasperation as yet another series of blasts approached him. With precision and concentration, Naruto executed the fire release fire breath technique, directing a torrent of intense flames towards Tony, who was suspended in the air. The flames emitted a fierce crackle and roar as they advanced toward Tony, who swiftly maneuvered to avoid the oncoming threat. However, Naruto had more to accomplish. As the flames dissipated into the air, he promptly accessed his system space and retrieved a handful of explosive kunai. With a swift motion, he launched the lethal projectiles towards Tony, who skillfully maneuvered through the air to evade the impending explosion. Tony persisted in his aerial maneuvers and assaults, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to remain airborne. Because of the helmet he was wearing, Naruto could not utilize his genjutsu technique. The distance between them was considerable, as Tony appeared to be steering clear of a close confrontation. Each time Naruto attempted to engage Tony in the air with his wind release, Tony ascended higher into the sky and deployed his mini-missiles to drive Naruto back to the ground. Naruto's chakra continued to diminish with every ninja technique he employed. After a brief moment, Naruto recognized that he could not overcome Tony through this approach and sought to establish a scenario in which Tony would be receptive to his perspective. He reviewed his recollections of the Marvel films he had seen, seeking a strategy to prevent Tony from continuing his assault. Indeed, that's it, Naruto quietly reflected as he finally recalled something significant. "Please refrain from recalling," Naruto suddenly exclaimed to Tony. "Was this not the song your mother performed on the piano during that unfortunate occasion?" Tony halted mid-air, his offensive maneuvers ceasing abruptly as Naruto's words pierced the atmosphere of tension. For a moment, it appeared as though time had come to a halt as the significance of Naruto's statement became clear. Tony recalled memories of his mother, her fingers skillfully navigating the piano keys, enriching their home with music. This was indeed the song she had played on that pivotal day before everything transformed. Tony insisted, his gaze locked onto Naruto. "How did you know that?" he asked, sounding both surprised and a bit nervous. Naruto looked at Tony, his face serious but determined. "I know a lot more than you might realize, Tony." Tony's jaw clenched, and for a second, it looked like he was about to explode with anger. Before Tony could blow up, Naruto asked, "Do you know why S.H.I.E.L.D. is after me?" "I don't know. Maybe it's because you took out your team members along with the agents sent after you, or maybe it's because you took out some civilians too," Tony joked, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Naruto squinted, his voice taking on a chill. "You're not exactly blameless either. So, what's the deal with the fight between you and your uncle, Obadiah? I heard that it didn't go too well, and I think there were a few civilians caught up in the crossfire." Tony's face grew serious, but Naruto kept going. "I felt really let down by the people I trusted a lot. Alexander Pierce set me up. Do you know who Pierce is? He's a top official at S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's been using the organization to push his own agenda." As the words hit him, Tony's eyes grew wide with disbelief. "Is that Alexander Pierce? Is that the guy from the World Security Council?" Naruto gave a solemn nod. "Sure thing. So, it looks like he's been in cahoots with Hydra this whole time. Do you remember Hydra? So, that organization we thought was gone for good. It's definitely still around, and they've managed to get into S.H.I.E.L.D. at the top levels." Tony frowned a bit as he took in the information. "Hydra? So, what's that got to do with me? Are you going with my parents?" Naruto's eyes softened a bit, and he spoke in a low voice. "Hydra had a hand in your parents' deaths. They aimed to get rid of anyone who got in their way, anyone who seemed like a threat to their warped view of the world. Your parents, Howard and Maria Stark, were targeted and killed by Hydra." Naruto took a deep breath, getting ready for the tough chat ahead. "Tony, so while I was on my mission, my team and I stumbled upon a Hydra facility. We found out some important details about the organization, like how they managed to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. I was taken aback, and I realized I needed to move quickly. I quickly reached out to Alexander Pierce, figuring he'd want to hear about the threat inside S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony's eyes went wide as he took in the seriousness of what Naruto was saying. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. got infiltrated. Naruto's face grew serious as he carried on. I'm not up to speed on everything, but it's pretty obvious that Hydra got their people into S.H.I.E.L.D., operating from within to push their own goals. I thought when I told Pierce about what we found, he'd jump right in to deal with the traitors and keep S.H.I.E.L.D. safe. But that's not how it went down, right? Tony asked, a hint of worry slipping into his voice. Naruto shook his head, feeling a wave of frustration wash over him as his jaw tightened. Nope. Just a few hours after I reached out to Pierce, our team ended up surrounded by Hydra agents. It was a tough and intense ambush, and even though we tried our hardest, we just didn't have the numbers or the firepower. Tony nodded, encouraging Naruto to continue with his story. Naruto looked down, his expression serious as he talked, the memories clearly weighing on him. It was quite the intense battle. That day, we lost some really good people, brave souls who sacrificed everything to safeguard the information we had found. I managed to get away, but it definitely wasn't easy. He took a moment, gulping as he remembered the tough times he went through. So, now Pierce is calling me a traitor and saying it's my fault that my team members died. He's really flipped the script on me, using all this chaos and confusion to make me look like the bad guy. It feels like I'm being hunted down, labeled a traitor to S.H.I.E.L.D., when all I really did was try to do what I thought was right. Tony stayed quiet, looking thoughtful as he took in what Naruto had said. He couldn't ignore the pain and resolve in Naruto's eyes as he shared his story, but Tony still found it hard to trust him. After a brief, tense pause, Tony finally broke the silence. I'm not sure if I can trust you yet. I can't help but acknowledge that you were spot on about the song my mom played before she passed away. That's definitely not something you can just brush off. Right now, I'm open to the thought that there could be more going on here than what we see at first glance. Naruto's shoulders dropped in relief, and you could see the relief in his eyes as he glanced at Tony. Tony floated in the air, looking at Naruto with a raised eyebrow. I get that I might start to think there's more to your story, but I still need some solid proof that my parents were murdered. I can't really do anything without some proof. Naruto nodded, getting where Tony was coming from with his need for solid proof. I get it. I think I might have an idea of where you can find that proof. Tony raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued even if he didn't want to be. So, where's that at? Naruto paused for a second before he started to talk. There's a Hydra facility located in Siberia, Russia. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I know it's around here somewhere. Tony squinted a bit, really taking in what Naruto was saying. So, you got this info from that facility you found a few weeks back? Sure, that's the source of the information I have. Tony, I really can't hang out any longer. S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to show up any second now to catch me, and I really can't let that happen. I've already done my part of the deal. Tony heard what Naruto had to say and then replied, his voice steady and resolute. I can't let you leave just yet. I'm not really sure I can trust you, but I need you to come along with me. We'll only wrap this up once I get my hands on the proof you talked about regarding the Hydra facility in Siberia. And if we find that proof, I'll help you get that tracker out of your body. Naruto sighed to himself. He just wanted to head out after sharing with Tony about his parents. He really had two reasons for doing that. He was just trying to find a way to get out of his current situation quickly. The second goal was to speed up the downfall of Hydra. Naruto will have no trouble swooping in to grab those reward points for taking down Hydra soon. Should I just act like I'm okay with the deal? But you know, getting rid of the tracker is really important to me, Naruto thought to himself. As he rode his bike, he often found himself trying to figure out where the tracker was hidden inside his body. He felt let down because he couldn't find anything. So, Tony mentioned that chakra could mess with the tracker's functions, which got Naruto thinking he could use it to locate the tracker. Looks like I could really use this guy's help to get the tracker removed, since seeing a doctor is off the table right now. So many thoughts were sparking up in Naruto's mind. Going after the Siberian base right now feels pretty risky given my current strength. I don't think I should do it, Naruto thought. Situational quest, assist Tony Stark in uncovering the truth about his parents' death and take down the Hydra base located in Siberia. You've earned 17,000 points. Out of nowhere, a panel popped up in his peripheral vision. You know what? I think I should go for it, Naruto said, his mind shifting right away when he saw how many reward points he could earn from finishing the quest. I can grab the Uchiha bloodline with these reward points, Naruto said, feeling pretty pumped. But then he took a moment to calm himself, realizing he needed to consider the risks that came with the quest. In the movie, Captain America: Civil War, the Siberian base of Hydra was deserted, and so were the Winter Soldiers that were held there. But right now, Hydra was still a fully functioning organization that hadn't been taken down yet. The Hydra base in Siberia would be well guarded, and the Winter Soldiers held there would definitely be on the move as well. Naruto couldn't quite recall how many Winter Soldiers there were, but one thing was for sure: these guys were definitely a threat. Naruto thought about the choice he had to make. He realized that the task of uncovering the truth about Tony Stark's parents' death and taking down the Hydra base in Siberia was going to be quite a challenge. The stakes were really high, and the opponent was quite tough. But the reward was pretty tempting, and Naruto couldn't shake off the thought of all the good things that might come from finishing this quest. Tony had some amazing resources and technology, and with his support, the task felt a lot more doable. Naruto realized that with a solid plan and some good support, they could take down the Hydra base and find out what really happened to his parents. Once Tony realizes that Hydra was behind his parents' deaths, he's definitely going to jump in and help Naruto take down that facility. Naruto spotted a chance to boost his power with the possibility of racking up a ton of reward points. Naruto knew that taking on such a high-stakes quest was a big deal, and he really felt the weight of the situation. As Naruto thought about the risks and rewards, he felt that familiar rush of excitement once more. He realized that the road ahead would be tough, filled with challenges and unknowns. But the idea of having Tony's help on such a huge adventure and the amazing rewards that could come from it really made the difference. While he was thinking about his choices, a voice interrupted his thoughts. I've got the tech and know how to get that tracker out of you, Tony said, his dark eyes focused as he spoke to Naruto. You really can't find this anywhere else. Naruto felt his heart race as he thought about what Tony had said. He was aware that the tracker inside him couldn't be spotted by any usual methods. It kept reminding him of the power his enemies had over him. If he decided to team up with Tony, he could finally get rid of this burden for good. But the big question was, could he really trust Tony? I get what you're saying, Naruto said, keeping his voice calm even though he felt a storm brewing inside. I just can't take the chance of heading into this quest with that thing still inside me. I'll agree to the deal, but you've got to take out the tracker first. Sure, we can chat about teaming up then. Naruto made a decisive choice after careful consideration. He maintained a lack of trust in Tony, despite having viewed the films. His confidence lay in the products available in the system shop. A scroll was located under the seals section that was ideally suited for the current situation. The contract was classified as C ranked and was contained within a scroll. The technique employed was a manifestation of the fuinjutsu practiced by my clan, the Uzumaki. The C-ranked contract formalized an agreement between two parties who chose to engage in a specific contractual relationship. Furthermore, it ensured that both parties to the contract upheld their commitments to one another. The contract may be terminated by a ninja of a rank superior to Chunin. Fortunately, Tony was not skilled in martial arts, nor did he possess knowledge of chakra techniques. Tony assessed Naruto's condition thoughtfully before nodding in agreement. Understood, Naruto. I will deactivate the tracker prior to our departure for Siberia, he stated. We must prioritize our departure from this location. Shield is en route, and it is advisable to avoid any complications that may arise from their presence. The tracker has been temporarily disabled and will resume its function after 1 hour. It is essential for us to distance ourselves from New York prior to that time. How about yourself? Will the shield question your credibility? Naruto inquired. That is not a concern for you. Make an effort to replenish the energy within your body. It will at the very least disrupt the detector in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s possession. Once I remove the tracker, there will be no further issues, Tony advised. Certainly, Naruto responded promptly, all the while concentrating on replenishing his chakra. Prepare yourself, Naruto, Tony announced above the noise of the suit's propulsion systems. I will be picking you up shortly. Without wasting any further time, Tony lifted Naruto and swiftly moved in a different direction. While in flight, Tony communicated through his helmet. I will escort you to a secure location to facilitate the removal of the tracker, he stated. Naruto gazed upward, observing the stunning stars scattered across the night sky. As they flew towards one of Tony's discreetly located mansions, Tony and Naruto were in each other's company. The existence of the mansion was likely omitted from the movies Naruto had viewed, possibly due to its lack of significance to the overall plot. Nonetheless, it had gained significance for Naruto as the tracker embedded within his body was set to be extracted there. Naruto let out a sigh and remarked, I dislike being compelled to engage in activities against my will. He resented the obligation imposed by Tony to travel to Siberia. He also bears responsibility, as he lacked the necessary strength. If he had possessed greater strength, he would not have required Tony's assistance to make his escape from that situation. Despite his newfound desire to proceed due to the emergence of the quest, he remained resistant to being coerced and compelled to fulfill Tony's demands. It is possible that I am somewhat influenced by the self-centered and overconfident protagonists of the Chinese web novel I engaged with in my previous life. However, it is indeed the case that without strength, I would merely be viewed as a pawn or puppet in the schemes of others, Naruto reflected. Tony interrupted his thoughts. It appears that the device is malfunctioning once more. Your current location appears to be distorted again. It appears you have completely revitalized that unusual energy of yours, Tony remarked through the helmet as he decelerated. Which location is being displayed? Naruto inquired as the air pressure against his face diminished. At times, it indicates a distance of approximately 100 to 200 miles from your current location. Other times, it fails to display any information, Tony remarked. They were able to locate me due to the significant depletion of my chakra during the battle with the abomination, Naruto deduced. We have arrived, Tony declared as he decreased the speed of his flight and began to lower his altitude. As they approached the mansion, the moonlight illuminated the magnificence of the estate surrounded by a thick forest. The mansion appeared almost otherworldly, its presence subtly obscured by the dense vegetation. Tony expertly piloted the aircraft, ensuring a smooth descent into the courtyard of the mansion. Welcome to the safe haven, Tony said, providing Naruto with a reassuring smile as they exited the flying vehicle. This facility possesses the necessary equipment to safely remove the tracker from your body, ensuring no side effects. Naruto surveyed the surroundings, observing the formidable architecture of the mansion. That is quite impressive, he acknowledged. What would prevent me from simply leaving once we enter? Tony smiled as he guided Naruto towards the entrance. Because you will not, he asserted with confidence. While you may have regained your energy, I assure you that I am not your adversary. I have reviewed the files from S.H.I.E.L.D. I am aware of your history. Naruto spoke. How did you? The database of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tony interjected, a trace of empathy evident in his tone. I have completed my research, and I am confident that you will uphold your commitment. Tony subsequently turned and began to walk toward the mansion's door in silence. If not for the quest, Naruto sighed and quietly began to follow Tony. Tony guided Naruto into the expansive mansion, navigating through the luxurious corridors and entering a room equipped with an array of sophisticated medical devices. Monitors, scanners, and surgical instruments were meticulously arranged on polished stainless steel tables. What leads you to believe that you anticipated my arrival here? Naruto inquired, a frown etched on his face. They are intended for me, Tony stated, gesturing towards his chest where the glowing arc reactor was located. Naruto refrained from making any further comments. These are the tools we will utilize to remove the tracker from your system, Tony stated, indicating the equipment. It is advisable to initiate the process promptly. Naruto paused, his expression contemplative. He silently reached into his system space and retrieved a scroll. Tony observed with astonishment as Naruto appeared to conjure the item from nowhere. Could you please clarify what that is? Tony inquired, his interest heightened. This document serves as a contract, Naruto clarified, unfurling the scroll. Upon the signature of both parties, this document will establish a binding mutual agreement. We must remain loyal to one another until we achieve our objective. Tony raised an eyebrow, showing interest in the proposal. I understand. Could you please clarify the terms of this contract? Naruto retrieved a brush from his system space and dipped it into ink, meticulously documenting the terms of their agreement on the scroll. He articulated each condition as he documented it, ensuring that both parties comprehended and consented to the terms. Naruto recently acquired the set of contract materials, including a brush and ink, for 200 points. He felt no remorse regarding the expenditure of points on this contract. The initial requirement is your agreement to remove the tracker embedded within my body, Naruto asserted, his tone resolute. Furthermore, Naruto continued, you must consent to refrain from introducing any additional objects into my body during the removal of the tracker. I must ensure that there are no complications or risks during the process. Tony acknowledged with a nod, recognizing the necessity of Naruto's assistance, and he was prepared to take any measures required to uncover the truth regarding his parents' demise. Once you have completed the removal of the tracker, I will assist you in locating the documentation regarding the death of your parents. Upon the completion of the deal, we will go our separate ways without revealing any information about one another, Naruto stated in a single breath, turning to Tony for affirmation. Tony observed Naruto, noting the gravity in his eyes and the resolve in his voice. He understood that the terms were fixed if he sought Naruto's assistance in the reality regarding his parents' demise. Agreed, Tony responded with conviction, his tone reflecting Naruto's determination. I will adhere to your conditions. I seek clarity, and I have confidence in your ability to assist me in uncovering it. I require a few drops of your blood on this scroll to initiate the process, Naruto stated, his tone both serious and reassuring. Following a brief moment of reflection, Tony acknowledged with a nod and proceeded towards the scroll unfurled by Naruto. Taking a moment to compose himself, he carefully pricked his finger, allowing several drops to fall onto the scroll. He observed as the parchment absorbed his blood, appearing to come to life with a subtle glow. Naruto mirrored the actions, executing his movements with precision and control. Shortly thereafter, both their blood was inscribed onto the scroll, and the subtle glow intensified, producing a gentle hum in the atmosphere. What are the potential consequences of breaching the contract? Tony inquired as he examined the contract while in a crouched position. Not much to report, aside from the matter of death, Naruto remarked, casually rolling up the contract seal and storing it in the system space. Could you please explain how that is accomplished? Tony was impressed by Naruto's ability to produce and remove objects seemingly at will. Tony's thoughts surged with inquiries as he endeavored to comprehend the events he had just observed. Naruto's capability to manifest objects into a space that appeared to materialize from nowhere was beyond his comprehension. He contemplated whether Naruto had, in some manner, deciphered the principles of space and possessed the ability to manipulate them at his discretion. However, this would suggest that there were indeed rules governing space from the outset, a notion that appears rather implausible. Is it possible that Naruto has access to concealed dimension where the principles of physics operate differently? Tony contemplated, his thoughts evolving into a series of increasingly unconventional theories. It is possible that he possesses advanced knowledge of quantum mechanics and has discovered methods to manipulate the fundamental aspects of reality. Alternatively, he may have discovered an ancient device that provides him with access to this enigmatic space. It resembles a scenario from a science fiction film. His mind was filled with a flurry of innovative ideas, each increasingly ambitious and unconventional. However, just as he was preparing to explore another improbable theory, Naruto's voice interrupted his contemplation. You appear to be quite unfazed by the death clause in the contract, Naruto observed, a trace of skepticism in his tone. Tony's train of thought abruptly ceased as he recognized that, in his intrigue with Naruto's abilities, he had failed to respond to the most surprising aspect of their discussion. The casual manner in which Naruto referenced death as a potential outcome of violating the contract was disconcerting. It was as if he had referenced a topic as ordinary as the weather. "I have my ways," Tony said, and Naruto didn't ask any questions because he had already disregarded Tony's query concerning the system space. Tony paused to gather his thoughts before speaking. "How about making another contract?" he said, hoping to find a solution that would suit both of them. Naruto lifted an eyebrow in inquiry. "Regarding what?" he said, fascinated by Tony's suggestion. Tony took a big breath before proceeding. "I'll assist you battle Hydra and demonstrate your innocence in front of S.H.I.E.L.D. That way, you won't have to scurry about like a dog, hiding and constantly battling adversaries," he stated, hoping to earn Naruto's confidence and cooperation. Naruto pondered Tony's proposition seriously. It was tempting to have someone on his side in the continuing conflict with Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., but he couldn't help but wonder what Tony expected in exchange. "And what do you want in exchange for your assistance?" he said, scanning Tony's demeanor for any indication of ulterior motivations. Tony pondered for a time, carefully considering his words before responding. "I'm curious about the strange energy inside your body. I want to know how to use it and its applications," he confessed, hoping Naruto would see the importance of the information he wanted. Naruto peered at Tony, wondering whether he was high or anything. It was obvious that the energy within him was unique and strong, and anyone in his position would have no intention of disclosing such vital knowledge. "You must be joking," Naruto sneered, rejecting the bargain without hesitation. He understood that only a fool would accept such a one-sided deal, and he refused to be taken advantage of in this manner. Tony's face sank as he knew Naruto would not accept his proposal. He had believed that their common aim of destroying Hydra and clearing Naruto's name would be enough to persuade him, but Naruto appeared unwilling to trust him with the information he wanted. "I understand if you're hesitant to share such sensitive information," Tony said, hoping to salvage the situation. "However, I promise you that my motives are sincere. I really want to assist you, Naruto. I think that working together, we can make a difference." Naruto remained dubious, knowing he couldn't give up on what made him special in this world. "I appreciate your offer, but no way in hell am I doing that," he said, determined to keep the secret of the chakra within him at all costs. "I understand," Tony agreed, disappointed by the squandered opportunity, but he did not give up hope. "I will not pursue the matter any further. But if you change your mind, know that my offer is still valid." "Don't worry. Hunting you uncover confirmation of your parents' deaths. I don't think you'll leave Hydra alive," Naruto reasoned, knowing that Tony would come hunting Hydra for revenge, making his task of dismantling Hydra a little simpler. Tony might even seek for his assistance in this matter, given that they both had mutual adversaries. "My precious 1 million quest points." Naruto was lost in his future plans, knowing that the 1 million quest points will be his. "All right then. Let's talk about when we should launch the attack on the Siberian base," Tony remarked, standing up and sitting down on the sofa. Naruto nodded thoughtfully. "First, we need to determine the exact position of the base. It is hidden in the depths of Siberia, where the landscape is severe. It will take some time to gather all of the essential information and develop a plan of action. You don't need to worry about it. We'll find the location soon," Tony mumbled. "Well then I suggest we take at least half a year to prepare before launching the attack," replies Naruto. Tony grimaced, plainly dissatisfied with the plan. "A half year is too lengthy. I cannot afford to wait that long. Furthermore, given that they know you have part of their data, they may relocate the base elsewhere." Naruto sighed, recognizing Tony would not back down easy. After some arguing, they both came to a decision. 3 months, then. We'll utilize that time to ensure we have everything we need to attack with accuracy and power." Tony spoke. After deciding on the timing of the procedure, Tony led Naruto to one of the guest rooms, promising to remove the tracker from his body by tomorrow midday. After leaving Naruto alone, Tony started to prepare for the tracker's removal. Naruto sat on the bed and accessed the system panel. Name: Naruto Uzumaki. Age: 24. Points: 3,175. Rank: Elite Genin. Quests. Shop. Ninja ranks. Genin to Elite Genin to Chunin to Elite Chunin to Special Junin to Junin to Elite Junin to Cage to Super Cage. Naruto had hoped to be promoted to Chunin during his fight with the Abomination, but he was disappointed. He knew from past tales that protagonists normally get stronger after a fight, but nothing like that had occurred to him. Let alone reaching the level of Chunin, his entire chakra had hardly grown. Anyway, 3075 points are not awful at all. Naruto was overjoyed to see the results of his hard labor. He toned down his excitement because the forthcoming task was far more tough than the previous ones. After all, the system would not give him the 17,000-point prize without any work. I should strive to acquire more effective skills in 3 months and aim to reach the Chunin rank. Naruto concluded as he returned to the bed that once he reached the Chunin rank, his power would increase significantly. Although it didn't show on his face, he was fiercely fatigued from the whole ordeal. Lying back on the bed, his head resting against the lovely pillow, he quickly fell asleep. The next morning, Naruto was awakened by a knock on his door. Groaning, he rolled over and swung his legs out of the bed. As he opened the door, he was shocked to discover Tony Stark standing there, flashing his signature captivating smile. "Good morning, Naruto. I hope you're prepared for a big day ahead," Tony added, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. Yeah, I guess so," Naruto said, still drowsy from the previous night's events. Tony said that he wanted to sleep even more after his 12 hours of sleep. Even when sleeping, Naruto remained aware of what was going on around him since he had not let go of his protection. Tony took Naruto to the kitchen, where a wonderful breakfast buffet was already prepared on the table. There were pancakes, waffles, bacon, sausage, eggs, and freshly squeezed orange juice. "Wow, this looks amazing, Tony," Naruto said, his mouth watering at the sight of the meal. "Dig in, Naruto. You'll need all the energy you can get for today," Tony said, motioning for Naruto to sit. "Hopefully, you didn't put anything in such a delicious meal," Naruto said, looking at Tony. "According to the deal, if I injure you in any way, I shall die. Isn't it?" Tony lifted an eyebrow. "Well, you aren't wrong." Naruto coughed slightly to mask his shame at having forgotten the contract stipulations. As they ate, Tony began describing how to remove the tracker from Naruto's body. He described how he created a unique gadget that could identify and disable the tracker while causing no harm to Naruto. He stated that the gadget would produce a frequency that would neutralize the tracker's signal and render it inert. Once deactivated, the tracker would safely flow through Naruto's system and be removed from his body. Naruto listened closely, nodding as Tony outlined the complexities of the procedure. He was astonished by Tony's brains and inventiveness, and he felt relieved knowing he would soon be free of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s relentless observation. After having their meal, Tony escorted Naruto to the lab where the surgery would be performed. The laboratory was a technological wonder, complete with cutting-edge equipment and innovations. "All right, Naruto, let's get started," Tony replied, motioning Naruto to lie down on a sleek, futuristic-looking examination table. Naruto agreed, feeling a rush of excitement and worry run through him. He trusted Tony and was certain that he was in skilled hands, but the prospect of having a foreign item removed from his body made him nervous. Tony began by carefully scanning Naruto's physique with a portable instrument to determine the exact position of the tracker. Once he had discovered the exact spot, he triggered the unique equipment he had created. It began to produce a faint hum before sending out waves of energy to deactivate the tracker. Naruto felt a warm warmth spread across his body as the gizmo performed its magic. It was unusual and little unreal to know that a tiny, intrusive item was being disarmed and rendered harmless within him. Tony intently examined the surgery as it progressed, ensuring that everything went as planned. After what seemed like a lifetime, the gadget sent out a quiet beep, signaling that the tracker had been properly disabled. "That is it, Naruto. The tracker has been neutralized," Tony declared with a happy smile. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief, feeling a weight lifted off his shoulders. He was finally free of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s watchful eye, owing to Tony's genius and knowledge. "Thanks, Tony. I can't tell you how much this means to me," Naruto remarked, his voice full of appreciation. Even though it was part of the bargain, Naruto was extremely grateful to Tony. If he had intended to remove the tracker manually, it would have taken a long time. I'm happy to help, Naruto. Alright, let's double check that there are no leftover traces of the tracker, Tony said, guiding Naruto to a different part of the lab where they would run some tests to confirm that the tracker was completely gone from his system. While the tests were happening, Naruto and Tony chatted casually about their upcoming operation. Great news. The tests showed that Naruto is free from the tracker, and he's all clear health-wise. Congrats. Congrats, you're officially a free man, Tony said, giving Naruto's shoulder a friendly clap. Naruto took a deep breath, feeling like a huge weight was finally lifted off his shoulders. He was finally free from the tight hold of the tracker, and he really couldn't thank Tony enough for all his help. After giving it some thought, Naruto looked over at Tony. So, here's the thing. I was just thinking, is there somewhere I can go to train? I really need to sharpen my skills and get back in fighting shape, Naruto said, his determination clear in his eyes. Tony gave a thoughtful nod. Sure thing. Why don't you take a little break for a few hours? After that, I can take you to a training room. Or, if you'd like, you could work out outdoors. Less than text. This spot is quite out of the way, so you can relax without worrying about any interruptions. Naruto took a moment to think about his choices. He realized he needed some downtime, but he was also super eager to jump back into training. The fresh air and wide open spaces of the outdoors really drew him in, and he knew what he had to do. I'm thinking about training outside. I really think some fresh air will help me out, and I could definitely use a little time to myself to clear my head, Naruto said, feeling determined. That sounds great, Naruto. Come on, I'll take you to a quiet spot where you can train without any distractions, Tony said, guiding Naruto out of the lab and into the vast grounds around the facility. While they strolled, Tony casually pointed out a hidden clearing tucked away in a cluster of trees. The ground felt nice and soft underfoot, covered in grass, and the air was just buzzing with the peaceful sounds of nature. Naruto, this is the perfect spot for you. You'll have lots of room to move around and train, plus no distractions to deal with, Tony said, pointing to the calm surroundings. Naruto was really thankful for Tony. This is just what I was looking for. After giving Naruto another warning to take a break from training, Tony headed off to his mansion. After all, he had some preparations and changes to make for the upcoming battle too. With a quick look at Tony's back, Naruto let out a sigh and decided to climb up a tall tree. Perched on a tree branch, he gazed up at the blue sky, reflecting on the moments that had brought him to where he was now. Have I jumped the gun a bit? Arrogant. Naruto was deep in thought, reflecting on his battle with Abomination and the wild chase with Shield that followed. Moreover, the operation he was about to take part in was riskier than the first two combined. Now he had to completely take out one of Hydra's dangerous bases, which was home to more than 4 powerful and trained winter soldiers. Oh, whatever, I really don't think the task is impossible, especially if I prepare well enough. I can't just let 17,000 points slip away, Naruto thought, pushing the topic aside as he opened the shop panel of his system. As Naruto browsed through the many techniques in the shop, he couldn't help but think about which ones he might want to buy. He didn't have a lot of time or points, so he really had to think carefully about which techniques to buy. This might take a bit, Naruto said, lounging back on the sturdy branch, his eyes wandering over the various techniques displayed on the system panel. So, after some time, Naruto finally figured out the techniques he'd be learning over the next 3 months. Fire Release. Phoenix Sage Fire Technique. Rank C. The user sends a bunch of small fireballs flying into the air. At first glance, it might look like just one fireball that then explodes into several. The little flames dance around the area, swirling in a way that could easily captivate anyone caught in their midst. Each flame is controlled by the user's chakra, which lets them direct each one toward the target, making this technique pretty tough to dodge. You can hide shuriken in the flames, which not only makes them more dangerous when they hit but also lets you control their movement by manipulating the flames. Pretty cool, right? The name's Lightning. Release. Overdrive. Rank. C rank. With Lightning Release, you can really amp up the signals traveling from your brain to your muscles, helping you strike faster. This technique lets you slice through with just your bare hands. Boosts the speed of your punches, kicks, and similar moves by +100. The user's body channels lightning at that speed stat. So, the name is Lightning Rat Violent Quake. Pretty cool, right? C rank. The user unleashes a burst of electricity that sends out multiple destructive discs, all of which zoom in on their targets. It can lead to physical injury and even shock the opponent. Lightning Release. Burst Technique. Rank. D. This is a pretty straightforward technique usually taught to genin to help them learn how to generate and control chakra for ninjutsu. Basically, the shinobi releases electric chakra from their whole body, so anyone who tries to touch or attack them gets hit with some minor electric shocks and burns. The shinobi can't really move when they're in this state. Earth Release. Tunneling Technique. Rank. D rank. This technique lets you dig tunnels right into the ground. The big tunnel that's made lets you move others around without anyone noticing. It's mostly used for infiltration purposes. Sensing Technique. Rank. D rank. The sensing technique helps sensor-type shinobi find and follow targets by picking up on their chakra signatures. At this level, the user can track chakra signatures from as far as 50 meters away. This is a basic level of sensing, which is helpful, but still falls short when compared to the more experienced sensory shinobi. He also picked up 2 summoning contracts along with the techniques. One was Katsuyu, a slug that could heal her summoner and also split into a bunch of smaller versions of itself. There was also another summoning contract for a hawk, which could scout the area and was handy for sending messages over long distances. This Hawkeye was definitely smaller compared to the hawk that Sasuke had. Naruto wasn't able to use the hawk for getting around like Sasuke could. Naruto used a total of 1100 points to buy the techniques and the summoning contracts. Naruto figured it was a good idea to catch a quick nap since Tony had really emphasized that he shouldn't jump into training just yet. Naruto enjoyed the gentle breeze brushing against his face while he perched on the strong branch of the tree. The leaves rustling overhead created a gentle lullaby, and he felt himself drifting off into a nice, peaceful sleep. It felt natural for him to just take a nap on that branch instead of going back to the mansion. The calmness of the area and the soft movement of the tree branch created an ideal place for a little afternoon snooze. As the sun started to dip down in the sky, Naruto woke up from his nap. He let out a big yawn and stretched his arms, feeling all refreshed and ready to take on the day. He looked around, soaking in the stunning sight of the sunset as it splashed the sky with a bunch of beautiful colors. That's when he suddenly remembered the summoning contracts he had tucked away in his system space. Naruto quickly grabbed the 2 summoning contracts from his system space, not wanting to waste any time. One was for a little scout-like hawk, and the other was for Katsuyu, a legendary creature from his old world. Naruto clutched the contracts in his hands, a wave of excitement and anticipation washing over him. It was time to strike a deal with these summoning beasts. Naruto concentrated his chakra and started to work on forming a contract with Katsuyu. He took a deep breath, really tuning into the sensation of his chakra moving through his body. He bit his finger, blood oozing out, and let it fall onto the summoning contract. When the blood hit the paper, there was this sudden rush of energy in the air, and Naruto felt this weird feeling come over him. It felt like he was in a daze, and a soft voice echoed in his mind. "Naruto, is it you who called me?" The soft voice floated through the air, and Naruto recognized it as Katsuyu's. "Wow, this is something we've never seen before. How can you bring me over from a different world to deal with my contract?" Naruto shook his head, trying to clear the fuzziness from the summoning process. Naruto started to share some insights about this world, chatting with the voice in his head. "In this world, ninjas might just be a figment of our imagination, but I've got chakra. I'm looking to make a deal with you, Katsuyu." Looking back, Naruto couldn't help but wonder how Katsuyu figured out he was from a different world. Arthur's note. She realized Naruto was in another world when he died. The Sage of Six Paths informed the other ninjas that Naruto had been pulled into another world. Upon hearing this, Minato was eager to find out if there was any way for Naruto to come back. Unfortunately, the sage explained that it was impossible since Naruto's body in this world was already dead. Everyone, including the summons, overheard this conversation. But Katsuyu's voice had this mix of curiosity and disbelief. How do you have the power of chakra, and how did you end up with my contract? I thought she knew Naruto lost his old chakra. Wow, this is a first for us. I'd love to hear more about your world and how you ended up with my summoning contract. Naruto paused for a bit to collect his thoughts before diving into his incredible, made-up adventure for Katsuyu. He shared the story of his meeting with a mysterious being who gave him access to chakra and some other cool powers, like bloodlines. Yeah, Naruto definitely twisted his words because he wasn't ready to share anything about the system with her. You talked about folks with unusual powers and deities. I'm really interested in learning more about them. Naruto paused for a bit before he spoke up. Do you think anyone can hear us talking? He asked a question. No way that's happening. You really don't need to stress about stuff like this, Katsuyu said with total confidence. You really have no clue how strong people can be in this world, Naruto shot back. It's not just about being strong. There's this strange vibe that not only protects us but also brings us closer together. I've never seen anything in my life that's so packed with energy and power. I think the energy comes from that mysterious being you met, Katsuyu said, trying to explain. Naruto just nodded, a look of worry fading from his face. He already had a sense of how powerful the system was after what He Who Remains had mentioned, and now he was experiencing it again. Since the chat was all in his head and kept safe by the system, Naruto didn't have to stress about anyone eavesdropping. Once he collected his thoughts, he started chatting about the Marvel Universe, sharing stories about all the amazing heroes and villains with their incredible powers and abilities. He shared stories about characters like Iron Man, a brilliant inventor who built an armor suit to battle injustice, and Thor, the Norse god of thunder, who had a powerful hammer named Mjolnir. Katsuyu listened closely as he spoke, her eyes growing wider with every new revelation. She found the idea of other worlds filled with beings that had powers beyond what we can understand really fascinating. She found herself drawing parallels between the shinobi world and the Marvel Universe that Naruto talked about. It seemed like both worlds had people with amazing abilities and a strong will to keep their realms safe from danger. Naruto kept sharing stories with Katsuyu about heroes like Captain America, this super soldier who had amazing strength and agility, and the Hulk, a scientist who would turn into this huge, angry monster. He talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy, a group of outcasts and misfits who came together to protect the universe from cosmic dangers. Naruto went on to talk about the cosmic beings in the Marvel Universe, like Galactus, this super powerful entity that actually eats whole worlds to keep going. He talked about these ancient beings known as the Celestials, who roamed the cosmos and experimented on life forms all over the universe. Naruto was sharing stories from the Marvel Universe, and Katsuyu couldn't help but get drawn in by the amazing tales of these extraordinary beings and their awesome powers. She found herself curious about how those beings would hold up against the tough forces of her own world. Would they even be able to grasp the complex politics and warfare that shaped the shinobi world? After Naruto wrapped up his stories about the Marvel Universe, Katsuyu couldn't help but be amazed by the incredible variety and depth of the world he painted. She was amazed by the thought of a universe filled with so many different beings and powers, each having their own unique stories and challenges. Wow, Naruto, your world is really something special, Katsuyu said, her voice full of amazement. The beings you're talking about have powers and abilities that are just mind-blowing. It's really interesting to think about how those kinds of people would do in our world today. Naruto grinned, happy to see Katsuyu so captivated by his stories. He always found comfort in the magical stories of other worlds, and now he was really happy to share them with someone who could enjoy them just as much. I'm really happy you think it's interesting, Naruto said, feeling pretty good about his storytelling skills. She thought about it. I never thought there could be other realms out there beyond my own. So, Naruto, what exactly are you hoping to gain by making a contract with me? What are you looking to achieve from our partnership? I think it's a helpful companion, Naruto said honestly. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. I'm thrilled you watched the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe for even more exciting content coming your way soon.